The fire was a genius. Not a stable genius, an unstable genius, but a genius for sure. And it was also, the fire was hot, too. A hot genius, like Mayim Bialik.
I'm signing an executive order to open up the pumps and valves in the north. We want to get that water pouring down here as quickly as possible and let hundreds of millions of gallons of water flow down into Southern California.
Listening to Trump talk about the wildfires, it's enough to make you want to pull your hair out of your head. Somewhere along the line, he got this idea there's a water pump we neglected to open that would have been all we needed to put the fire out.
Imagine being a Californian watching your former president suggest fighting wildfires with video game logic. How would you feel? Confused? Angry? Maybe you'd laugh to keep from crying. Well, that's exactly what happened when Trump came to LA. Now, picture Jimmy Kimmel, armed with his sharp wit, ready to say everything you're thinking. He's got jokes that'll make you snort, laugh, and nod in agreement. If you've ever felt frustrated by politicians who don't get it, this video is your comic relief. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. As a result, our favorite reality TV personality with an orange tint made the decision to travel to Los Angeles, and he was absolutely ready for it. It appeared as though Trump was going to play the lead role in the upcoming disaster movie titled Fiorinato versus the Donald.
They say it's an endangered species. Well, how is it endangered? No wonder it's endangered. It's not getting any water. How do you, if you have a fish and you're stopping the water, isn't that going to hurt the fish? I don't think we should give California anything until they let water flow down into there.
It's from the north to the south.
This is a political thing. I don't know what it is. You know, they talk about the Delta smelt. It's a little tiny fish like this.
Great point, Jacques Cousteau. This has nothing to do with a fish. He is so ridiculous.
Trump arrived in town as if so. On the other hand, he brought his large, lovely brain, his reliable sidekick, rather than actual methods of solving the problem. The individual who is described as really smart. And picture this right now. As if he were trying to read the fine print on a McDonald's menu, Trump is giving the wildfires in California the attention they deserve by squinting his eyes. At that moment, whoosh, the ambitious plan that he had is abandoned. Are you able to deal with this genius? He is interested in opening some water valves that operate in a magical manner. Actually, you did hear it correctly. The process of putting out a fire in Trump's world appears to be as straightforward as activating a sprinkler system.
Johnny Can't Unite Us was here in LA this weekend, and we really rolled out the orange carpet for him. Governor Newsom was on hand to greet the president and first lady as they landed. They spoke with the press. The governor, he did his best to make nice. He said in front of reporters to the president, he said, "You were there for us during COVID, and we won't forget it," which is like telling Michael Myers he was there for us Halloween, and we won't forget it.
Taken care of. This was a horrible thing to watch, and the way it just kept going and going, and then they'd find another area. It was like a genius on the other side. The fire was a genius.
Still, hold on, things are going to get better. According to our irritable President Trump, he started talking about unlimited water as if he had just discovered a cheat code for a video game. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start, and there you have it, without limit to water. That unfortunate group of firefighters in California would have benefited from someone telling them sooner. It was almost as if you could hear people in California scratching their heads during this intervening period. Most likely, they were interested in finding out whether or not Donnie Diapers had been consuming any of the magic mushrooms that were found in Mario's world. Get moving. To put out fires, Trumpster, it is not as simple as pressing the A button on your Nintendo console with your finger. However, on the bright side, the visit of our commander-in-chief provided late-night hosts with sufficient content to last until the end of time. My mind conjures up images of them frantically scribbling notes while beaming like children on Christmas morning. Is it true that Trump believes he can use the logic of video games to put out fires?
You're talking about unlimited water coming up from the Pacific Northwest.
That's right. He will be issuing an executive order making the whole state a Six Flags Hurricane Harbor, and that should solve all our problems. Same guy, same person. But Trump's trip got a bigly thumbs up from all the characters in MAGA land, including his newly appointed ambassador to Hollywood, Mr. Mel Gibson. He's got gold coins. It's like Super Mario Brothers in there. I think it's important to remember the man criticizing us for our response to the fire is the man who suggested we inject bleach into our bodies to stop COVID.
It appears that all of our birthdays have arrived at the same time. People, let's be honest with each other. Trump would be a fish out of water in Los Angeles if that fish had tiny fins, was orange, and believed it could breathe fire. Both of these characteristics are true. Instead of the ardent admirers that he most likely anticipated, he was greeted by a group of Californians who were perplexed and wanted to know why the Oompa Loompa King was trying to attempt to mansplain fire safety to them. Jimmy Kimmel, our hero of late-night comedy, arrives with jokes that are superior to those of Donald Trump, or anything else for that matter. Trump's visit to Los Angeles in the crosshairs of his comedy, Kimmel is prepared to light up our favorite orange turd like a Christmas tree. Kimmel's comedy is centered on Trump's visit to Los Angeles. Not only does Grumpy Trumpy enjoy being the center of attention, but you do as well. From Kimmel, he received precisely what he desired, but it did not turn out the way Donnie Diapers had hoped it would. First, Kimmel asserted that Trump was given the opportunity to walk on the orange carpet. Do you agree that this is nothing short of a warm welcome? One of the most unfortunate aspects is that Kimmel wasn't just making jokes. Above and beyond those wildfires in California, he was stoking the fires of Trump. Do you remember when President Trump came up with the idea of using bleach injections to fight COVID? Certainly, Kimmel did not forget about it. He made the observation that the man criticizing us for our response to the fire is the man who suggested we inject bleach into our bodies to stop COVID. There was a sense of irony in Trump's criticism of California's response to the wildfires. I suppose that bleach is the answer to every problem that ever arises in Trump's world. Do you have a stain? To bleach. Are you infected with a virus? To bleach. Is there a wildfire in your area? Yes, you guessed it. Bleach it. Nevertheless, Kimmel had not yet completed his work. In his comparison, he compared Trump's ideas about firefighting to the crayon drawings of a young child. Are you able to picture it? Donnie, the young boy, was sitting at his desk, drawing stick figures with buckets of water, and his tongue was sticking out in an expression of intense concentration. On the other hand, if it weren't for the fact that this man was once in charge of nuclear codes, it would be almost adorable. The audience was in fits of laughter as Kimmel continued to deliver zinger after zinger after such zinger. He went so far as to make fun of Trump's proposal to transform California into a Six Flags Hurricane Harbor in order to better deal with the wildfire issues that the state is experiencing. There is no better way to convey the concept of fire safety than by referring to a massive water park. It has become abundantly clear to me that the slogan, "Come for the slides, stay for the not being on fire," is accurate. The problem is that Kimmel was revealing some harsh realities in the midst of all the laughter that was going on. The genius plan that Trump had presented appeared to be as solid as a chocolate fireman by the time he finished his monologue. It is melted, it is messy, and it is completely useless in a real emergency, you know. During the final segment, Kimmel delivered a zinger that caused Trump supporters to become enraged and the audience to yell. However, this is the point at which things start to get interesting. The vast majority of people are of the opinion that President Trump's trip to Los Angeles was nothing more than an additional opportunity for him to fabricate stories about natural disasters. What if, however, this wild and wet story is not the only one that exists? To put it simply, so there you have it, folks. Our superhero with the orange tint believed that he could put out fires by employing strategies similar to those used in Super Mario. On the other hand, just like in video games, there are times when saving the day requires more than just jumping on things and yelling gibberish. It was Kimmel who brought to our attention the fact that there are times when the most effective way to deal with a lemon, or in this case an orange, that life throws at you is to extract as much comedy as possible from it. It is important to keep in mind that while we are giggling over Trump's water pump fantasies, real firefighters are employing science and strategy in order to save lives and property. It is possible that the next time a catastrophe occurs, we ought to take the guidance of the specialist rather than the individual who is of the opinion that bleach is the panacea for all problems, and that windmills are the cause of cancer. Regarding disasters, if you thought this was crazy, you should watch the video that we are going to release soon. Trump goes mad after Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert exposed Melania with one word. You can trust me, Grumpy. Trump is going to become even more irritable in the future.